as we're talking about great accomplishments, I see that the Honorable Prime Minister, the Honorable Minister of Health, the Honorable Minister of CARICOM and Foreign Affairs, a TNTech representative, His Excellency the Ambassador of the United States of America, members of the Trinidad and Tobago Defense Force, members of the U.S. Marines, Secret Service, Special Branch, TNTech WASA, health officials, all assembled at Jean Pierre Sport Complex during a state of emergency, where citizens cannot run, cannot walk by yourself outside, cannot exercise, cannot ride a bike, cannot jog around the savannah, cannot do push-ups outside or sit-ups or abdominals, cannot go in a gym, cannot do anything. And are told they cannot work, cannot go to work, cannot earn a salary because work is not essential if you're non-essential. But these people, including Prime Minister Keith Christopher Rowley, descended on Jean Pierre Complex in their numbers above 5. From my calculation, at least 42. To do the essential work of looking at a tent. They didn't cut no ribbon. Because Simon the Nosebreaker, the Minister of PNM Communications, say no, that's an honest mistake by someone under stress in a stressful job. A PNM working in a SWRHA or NWRHA or whatever, he make a mistake and just fabricate it in his mind and concoct it like on Planet Senator or something. Hey, the Prime Minister is going to cut a ribbon for the tent, so we must work very hard to get it ready because they want to do it yesterday, and it just happened that yesterday the Prime Minister went in Jean Pierre along with the Minister and they didn't cut the ribbon, but they had speech. Rowley give a speech, the Alsing give a speech, the Ambassador give a speech, the TNTech people say, hey, we making sure it have current. We want to make sure it have current for later dead. Look, even at Talbot there, where Talbot come out from? That was essential work to do a PR piece for 210. Run the video.
I know that there are things that have to be done to protect the lives of people in this country. Don't jackass the thing.
Distance.
Don't jackass the thing.
Sanitize.
Don't jackass the thing.
Mask.
Don't
DSM.
jackass the thing. Don't 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 jackass. Understand? Don't midnight. Don't tonight. Don't jackass the thing. Don't midnight. Don't tonight. Don't jackass the thing.
Sanitize. Mask.
Understand?
DSM.
I know that there are things that have to be done to protect the lives of people in this country.
$601 cases, 23 deaths today, and you clone of a Prime Minister have to go and make a speech in front of some tent that you say you made a negotiation with the US since September last year when you called an early election. So you predicted since September last year that today in May, as we stand, 23 citizens would die of COVID-19, that we were #1 in the world. Where the Minister of #1? Blame the man, Archie.
In the world, #1 in the world, #1 in the world, #1 in the world, #1.
From March 1st, going across the board to November, from back in November 16, 2020, and so on, the world average, right? Showing in the world, even when some places like Italy and Spain and so on were collapsing under the pressure, when the US and New York and so on was under pressure with COVID-19, the average deaths per million was that. Look, the world average, you see the blue line? Look at Trinidad and Tobago line in May. Triple or quadruple the world average. And them going to not cut ribbon, them going to make speech about opening tent for we people to go and dead. Our lady talk about her father or grandfather going down there, and there's a means test in the PNM health sector on who to live and who to dead. And the means test is them will determine how old you is, and if you too old in them opinion, you is to dead. That is where the parallel COVID-19 health system under Terence Dialsing and Keith Christopher Rowley reach. And I am asking all of you PNM fanatics who think this dunce clown selfish procurement man without procurement, this black hating individual who like nobody, not even my own wife and child. I'm asking you all, if it was your father, your grandfather, your mother, your sister, your aunt, who went into a hospital run by the PNM, run by Dialsing and run by Rowley, and they looked at you and said, he or she too old, no ICU. What would you have said? How would you have felt in a country that spent $20 billion in the last 14 and a half months? How would you have felt? I'm talking to PNM fanatics. I know how normal people would feel. I'm talking to the PNM, the man who do the dance, drinking rum and in the election in August, and he gone down on his knees on the asphalt and thing, whining, hear real rhythm. I wonder how you would have felt if it was your father who needs a ventilator and the PNM health system tell you, nah, he too old, put he there to lie down and dead. Put him there to lie down and dead. Where the parallel health system, we're going to a break just now, but do you know that under this PNM government, the parallel health system shrink? Or you don't believe me? Let me listen to the convent girl, the brightest minister of health in pandemic. Listen to he.
Prior to COVID or post-COVID, we activated 230 beds at Couva, extra capacity. 50 at Augustus Long. We activated an extra 75, I believe, at Couva. We have activated an extra 94 at Arima. We will be activating across the board, that is how much? A couple hundred, and we could add it up. So the answer is yes, we have activated an entire parallel healthcare system to deal with COVID. Oh, I have it here. The total number of available beds to deal with COVID is 924 beds. So that's a vast number that we have activated in the parallel healthcare system. So I hope you are comforted by that answer. Let's look at the numbers. Prior to last weekend, we had 462 ward beds in the system. When you add ICU and HDU to that, we had 542. In the space of 1 week, we added 130. That takes you up, if you add 130 to 542, that is what, 672, around there. Then we are going to add 80 more with the 2 field hospitals. It is our hope that the surge capacity provided by the 130 plus 80, which is 210, if my maths are correct, that will be more than sufficient to see us through.
So April, play him. Play him.
Play
him.
In the world, number one in the world, number one in the world.
April 2020, 4 months before election, 4 months before the Chambers of Commerce, the Guardian newspaper, the Express, TV6, CNC3 was telling the country Dr. Keith Rowley and that man were handling COVID-19 positively and properly. While citizens were locked out, no testing was done, no contact tracing, no ventilators, nothing. But they sold you all a lie because election was coming, and those who were to benefit from contracts and so on wanted that man Rowley there. So in April 2020, that clown is telling you 924 beds in the parallel system for COVID-19 alone. This week, yesterday, or day before, whatever, he's saying after the 210th bill, which is 80, plus they add an next 110, they go reach 740. So how, between April 2020 and last week, the parallel health system shrink from 920 to 924 to 520? It shrink or somebody lie? It shrink or somebody lie and people dying? It shrink or somebody lie and people dying and no capacity, and people are being told that their grandfather and their father too old to get ICU. How many ventilators they have?